Today we're checking out one of the most affordable mini PCs that you can get from Minis Forum. I want to thank them for sending this over to review on the channel. It's currently under $200, but I'll leave a link down below with current pricing and more information. This one's fairly small and compact. It has a pretty traditional look to it. It's model N100L and it's got a 12th gen Intel N100 processor, Intel UHD graphics. It can support up to 3 4K monitors. It's got 16 gigabytes of RAM, 512 gigabytes of SSD storage, and you can also add a 2.5 inch hard drive as well. As far as connections go, you've got 2 USB 3.2 Type A ports there on the front, along with a 3.5 millimeter audio jack. Nice thing is this one has an SD card slot there on the side, and then on the back you've got one HDMI, one USB 3.2 Type C ports, Ethernet, DP, and 2 USB 2.0 ports, and of course where you plug in the power. It's pretty easy to take off the rubber feet there on the bottom, and then you've got 4 screws to remove to access everything on the inside. Just watching 4K YouTube videos, it only has about 13 dropped frames, which is pretty good compared to others I've tested. I also did some simple 4K video editing on here using Adobe Premiere Pro, and yeah, it's actually smoother than I thought it would be. Just scrubbing back and forth on the timeline, it really didn't seem to struggle or stutter at all. So that tells me you can do quite a bit on here. Performance wise, this is actually much better than I expected. Performance wise, you've got 1192 single core and 3030 multi-core scores for Geekbench 6 and 3292 for the GPU score, which is quite a bit better than the Beelink Mini S12 that I reviewed a while back. This one doesn't have the greatest 3D Mark Time Spy score, and it was pretty obvious in my testing. This is not a gaming PC. In fact, when doing the benchmark test on Forza Horizon 5, it ended up with only 9 frames per second at 1080p resolution. I mean, sure, technically you could play some games on here like that, but it was way too choppy on games like Forza Horizon 5, and sort of the same thing when I was testing out Rocket League. It hovered right around 20 frames per second, but it was just too choppy to be able to play at my usual settings at 1080p resolution. But if you need a computer that isn't going to take up hardly any space, maybe you just need to do more basic things like Word or Excel, or if you want to use as a media device to watch Netflix, YouTube videos, or other streaming services, I think this could be a good option. Just keep in mind this has entry-level performance, but it's still a pretty good option in my opinion, especially if you prefer Windows 11 over something like Chrome OS. It definitely feels like a good entry-level device, especially for the price. So if you've made it this far into the video, you may want to say thanks by subscribing, and don't forget to give a thumbs up if this video was helpful. This is Brian from Fishbee Productions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.